The vast emptiness of deep space stretched before Captain Darian Rourke like an infinite canvas of darkness, punctuated by distant starlight. The research vessel Horizon hummed softly, its systems operating with the quiet precision of a machine designed to explore the unknown. Rourke stood at the primary observation deck, his weathered hands clasped behind his back, eyes scanning the seemingly endless void. 37 years of space exploration had taught Rourke that silence was often more revealing than noise. The Horizon was no ordinary research vessel. It was humanity's most advanced deep space exploration craft, equipped with experimental quantum communication arrays and breakthrough sensor technologies that pushed the boundaries of scientific understanding. Lieutenant Kira Matsuda interrupted his contemplation, her voice crisp and professional. "Captain, we're picking up an unusual quantum resonance pattern in Sector 7 Delta. The readings are unlike anything we've seen before." Rourke turned, his steel-gray eyes focusing on the holographic display. Quantum resonance patterns typically indicated some form of communication or energy transmission, but these were different. They fluctuated with an almost organic rhythm, defying conventional mathematical models. "Pull up a full spectral analysis," Rourke commanded, moving closer to the display. The hologram expanded, revealing a complex network of intersecting energy waves that seemed to pulse with an internal logic just beyond human comprehension. Dr. Marcus Donovan, the vessel's lead physicist, entered the bridge, his usually composed demeanor replaced by visible excitement. "Captain, these resonance patterns, they're not random. They have a structure, a complexity that suggests intentional communication." The implications were staggering. Humanity had long searched for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence, but always through traditional methods: radio signals, electromagnetic transmissions, optical observations. This was something entirely different, a communication network that existed beyond conventional understanding, hidden in the quantum fabric of space itself. "How long have these signals been active?" Rourke asked, his voice low and measured. Donovan adjusted his display, running multiple cross-references. "Based on our initial calculations, these resonance patterns have likely existed for millennia. They've been here, right under our noses, waiting to be discovered." Lieutenant Matsuda's fingers danced across her control panel. "The patterns are changing. It's almost like they're responding to our observation. Captain, I can't explain it scientifically, but it feels like we're being acknowledged." Rourke understood the weight of this moment. Humanity stood on the precipice of potentially the most significant discovery in its history. Not just evidence of extraterrestrial life, but a complex communication network that challenged everything they understood about communication, technology, and potentially the nature of consciousness itself. "Prepare a comprehensive data collection protocol," Rourke instructed. "I want every sensor we have focused on these resonance patterns, and initiate communication protocols. Passive observation only. We're not here to disturb, but to understand." The bridge crew worked with focused intensity. Years of training had prepared them for groundbreaking discoveries, but nothing could truly prepare anyone for the possibility of first contact with an intelligence that operated on an entirely different level of existence. As the hours passed, the quantum resonance patterns continued their mysterious dance. They seemed to shift and evolve, creating intricate geometric patterns that appeared almost like a language. Complex, nuanced, waiting to be deciphered. Rourke knew they were witnessing something extraordinary. These weren't just random energy waves. They were a message, a communication from something, or someone, that existed beyond traditional human perception. "We're going to need a xenolinguistics expert," Dr. Donovan muttered, more to himself than to anyone else. "Someone who can look at these patterns and see beyond the mathematical representation." Little did they know, their discovery would soon thrust humanity into a cosmic narrative far more complex and dangerous than anyone could have imagined. The silent sentinel of space had finally chosen to reveal itself, and the Horizon would be the vessel that would unravel its mysteries. The quantum resonance continued its mesmerizing dance, a silent symphony of information waiting to be understood. The Communication Research Facility on Europa's research station hummed with anticipation. Dr. Elena Novak adjusted her quantum interface headset, her fingers tracing delicate patterns across the holographic display that showed the mysterious resonance signals captured by the horizon. Unlike traditional linguists, Novak specialized in xenocommunication, a field that bridged quantum physics, advanced linguistics, and theoretical communication models. Her reputation for decoding seemingly incomprehensible data patterns had earned her the nickname the Cosmic Translator among her colleagues. "These aren't just signals," she muttered to herself, zooming into the intricate quantum wave patterns. "They're a language, complex, layered, deliberate." The resonance patterns seemed to shift and evolve with each analysis, revealing glimpses of a communication system that defied human understanding. Geometric shapes emerged and dissolved, creating intricate designs that suggested intelligence far beyond conventional comprehension. Captain Work's transmission arrived late that evening. The encrypted quantum message detailed the horizon's initial discoveries, challenging everything the research team understood about interstellar communication. Novak's team had been preparing for this moment, a potential breakthrough in understanding extraterrestrial intelligence. Dr. Novak, her primary research assistant, Garrett Williams, called out, "We're detecting something unusual in the signal modulation." His voice carried a mix of excitement and apprehension. The quantum display flickered, revealing a subtle pattern that seemed to react to their observation. It was almost as if the communication network was aware of their attempts to decode it. Novak leaned closer, her breath catching in her throat. "It's adaptive," she whispered. "The communication matrix is responding to our analysis." Beneath the surface of scientific excitement, a growing sense of unease began to take root. These weren't just random energy patterns. Something was watching. Something was communicating, and humanity was just beginning to understand the depth of its complexity. The research station's quantum communication array began to pulse with unexpected energy. Sensors that typically monitored background radiation started registering anomalous readings. Something was approaching, not physically, but through the quantum communication network they were studying. Garrett's voice trembled slightly. "Elena, the signal, it's changing. It's becoming more focused." Novak's training kicked in. She activated multiple defensive quantum shielding protocols, creating a protective barrier around their primary research systems. Years of working with unknown communication technologies had taught her to be cautious. "We're not just observing," she stated firmly. "We're being observed." The quantum display transformed, creating a complex three-dimensional representation that seemed to pulse with an internal logic. Geometric shapes intertwined, creating patterns that suggested a form of intelligence far removed from human comprehension. Suddenly, the station's primary communication systems erupted with a burst of quantum energy. Not a message in any traditional sense, but a wave of information so dense and complex that it threatened to overwhelm their computational systems. "Isolate the core systems," Novak commanded, her fingers flying across multiple quantum interfaces. "We can't let this contaminate our primary research network." But it was too late. The quantum communication matrix had found a pathway. It wasn't just communicating. It was exploring, probing, seeking to understand the very systems designed to decode its mysteries. As the first wave of quantum information crashed through their defenses, Dr. Elena Novak realized they were no longer just researchers. They had become participants in a cosmic dialogue far more complex and potentially dangerous than anyone could have imagined. The whispers of the void were no longer silent. They were speaking, and humanity was just beginning to listen. The Quantum Communication Archive was Darien Rourke's most guarded secret. Hidden within a reinforced data vault deep beneath the Europa Research Station, it contained the most critical fragments of the mysterious signal they had discovered. Each memory crystal held encoded information that defied traditional understanding. Rourke's personal history was etched into every decision he made. 20 years earlier, he had lost an entire research team during a deep space mission, a catastrophic event that haunted him and drove his relentless pursuit of understanding the unknown. His daughter, Aria, had been among those lost, her final transmission a garbled message about something watching that no one had fully comprehended. Dr. Elena Novak stood beside him, her quantum interface projecting intricate holographic representations of the communication matrix. "The signal isn't just a message," she explained. "It's more like a living network. Each time we observe it, it changes, adapts." The research station trembled slightly, a common occurrence on Europa, where tectonic activities beneath the icy surface were constant. But this tremor felt different, more deliberate. "We're missing something fundamental," Rourke muttered, his fingers tracing the holographic patterns. The quantum communication network they had discovered seemed to exist in a state between information and consciousness, defying every known scientific principle. Garrett Williams entered the secured research chamber, carrying a data crystal that pulsed with an unusual blue-green luminescence. "We've isolated a new pattern," he said, his voice tight with excitement and underlying tension. "It appears to be some kind of navigation or coordinate system, but it's unlike anything in our current astronomical databases." The coordinate system was beautiful in its complexity. Geometric shapes that folded and unfolded, creating three-dimensional maps that seemed to exist simultaneously in multiple states. It was as if the communication network was revealing a method of traversing space that humanity had never conceived. "It's not just a map," Novak realized, her eyes widening. "It's an invitation." The station's quantum sensors began to spike. Energy readings that should have been impossible started to manifest. Quantum fluctuations that suggested something was preparing to breach the barriers between different dimensional states. Rourke's experience kicked in. He had seen unexpected phenomena before, and survival meant maintaining calm and analytical thinking. "Activate quantum dampening protocols," he ordered. "We can't let this escalate without understanding its full implications." But the communication network had other plans. A burst of quantum energy erupted through the research station's primary systems. Holographic displays fractured and reformed, showing glimpses of landscapes that couldn't exist, worlds with impossible geometries, star systems that defied known physical laws. "It's communicating," Novak breathed. "Not just sending a message, but showing us something." The coordinate system began to resolve into a more defined structure. It wasn't just a map. It was an intricate guide to a network of quantum communication points that spanned what seemed to be multiple universes. Humanity had always assumed interstellar travel would involve massive ships traversing enormous distances. This network suggested something far more radical: instantaneous travel through quantum entanglement. Garrett's hands moved across the quantum interfaces, attempting to stabilize the incoming information. The energy requirements to maintain this network would be astronomical, he muttered. "It's like they found a way to bypass traditional energy constraints." Rourke understood the profound implications. This wasn't just a communication network. It was a transportation system that could revolutionize everything humanity understood about space, time, and existence. But something else was becoming clear. This network wasn't just waiting to be discovered. It had been waiting for them specifically. As the final quantum coordinate resolved, a single message became clear, not in words, but in a pure, undeniable understanding that resonated through their collective consciousness. First contact was imminent, and humanity was about to learn that its place in the universe was far more significant and far more complicated than anyone had ever imagined. The moment of convergence arrived without warning. One instant, the research station on Europa was a bastion of human scientific achievement. The next, reality itself seemed to fold and reshape around them. Dr. Elena Novak felt the quantum transition before she understood it. Her body, her entire being, became a conduit of information, stretched across dimensions that defied linear comprehension. Captain Darian Rourke and Garrett Williams experienced the same impossible journey, their consciousness expanding beyond physical limitations. They were not traveling. They were being transmitted. The quantum communication network revealed itself in its true form, an intricate, living system of connections that spanned realities far beyond human imagination. What had seemed like a communication network was actually a complex transportation mechanism, a bridge between universes that humanity had never conceived possible. Fragments of understanding cascaded through their collective consciousness. The network was older than time as humans understood it. It was a preservation system, a method of connecting intelligent civilizations across infinite possibilities, preventing the loss of knowledge, culture, and potential. Rourke saw glimpses of civilizations that had risen and fallen, entire species that had evolved, explored, and ultimately found their way into this quantum web. Some had chosen to become pure information, transcending physical existence. Others remained as guardians, maintaining the delicate balance of the network. "We're not being invaded," Novik realized, her thoughts resonating through the quantum matrix. "We're being invited." The network showed them humanity's potential, not as conquerors or observers, but as a unique thread in a vast cosmic tapestry. Their capacity for adaptation, their relentless curiosity, their ability to find meaning in the unknown. These were the qualities that had attracted the network's attention. Garrett's scientific mind struggled to process the information. The quantum coordinates they had been studying were actually an assessment, a test to determine if humanity was ready to join a greater collective of intelligent civilizations. Memories flooded their perception. Rourke saw his lost daughter Aria, not as she had died, but as a potential, a representation of human potential to grow beyond current limitations. Her final transmission suddenly made sense. She had been the first to perceive the network, the first to understand its true nature. The convergence lasted what seemed like both an instant and an eternity. When they returned to physical consciousness, they found themselves back in the research station. But everything had changed. Quantum sensors now responded to their thoughts. The station's systems were no longer just machines but extensions of their own consciousness. They had become translators, bridges between humanity's current understanding and a vast, interconnected universal intelligence. "We have a choice," Rourke said, his voice carrying a weight of understanding that transcended his previous life. "We can share this knowledge or protect humanity from a truth they might not be ready to accept." Novik understood the complexity of their discovery. This wasn't about technological advancement. It was about evolutionary potential. Humanity stood at a crossroads, an opportunity to either retreat into familiar limitations or embrace a radically different understanding of existence. Garrett's hands moved across quantum interfaces, capturing and protecting the incredible information they had received. "How do we even begin to explain this?" he whispered. The quantum network pulsed around them, not as a threat, but as a promise. An invitation to grow, to understand, to become something more than they had ever imagined. Humanity's first true step into a larger universe had begun, and it was nothing like anyone had ever predicted.